The first time my phone buzzed in that emergency room, I thought someone finally cared. The ceiling above me was the kind of white that makes you feel smaller, like it's pressing down on your chest. Fluorescent lights hummed softly, and somewhere down the hall a machine kept time with a steady, impatient beep. I remember thinking that sound felt like a reminder. You're still here, whether anyone notices or not. My left arm was hooked to an 4, taped down so tight my skin itched beneath it. There was a sharp antiseptic smell in the air, mixed with stale coffee, and something metallic I couldn't place. Blood, maybe. Fear, definitely. I shifted slightly on the narrow bed and winced as a dull ache rolled through my chest again, slow and heavy, like a wave that didn't know when to stop. I had called my family hours earlier. I knew the time because the clock on the wall across from me had a second hand that clicked instead of sweeping. Every click felt loud.
Accusatory. I had said it calmly then. Too calmly, maybe.
I'm in the ER, I told them. They're running tests.
I'm scared.
They said they'd call back. They didn't. Before all this, before the hospital wristband, before the nurse with tired eyes and gentle hands, I lived a quiet, predictable life. Not perfect, but steady. I was the kind of person who woke up early even on weekends, who kept extra canned food in the pantry just in case, who never let the gas tank fall below half. I believed in being prepared. I believed in family, too, though I'd started to learn those two beliefs don't always go together. My days followed a rhythm. Morning coffee in my chipped blue mug. The smell of toast just before it burned. A short drive to work with the radio low because I liked hearing my own thoughts. I wasn't rich, wasn't struggling either. I worked hard, paid my bills, remembered birthdays. I was the one people called when they needed something explained slowly, kindly. My family had always leaned on me that way. My sister called when her marriage cracked around the edges. My brother showed up when he needed money and left when he didn't. My parents, well, they loved me in that distant, practical way, the kind that shows up more in expectations than affection. And still I showed up. Every time. That's why, when the pain started that afternoon, I ignored it at first. It came while I was folding laundry, a tightness just under my breastbone. I paused, pressed my palm there, waited for it to pass. Told myself it was indigestion, stress, anything but fear. By early evening, the pain hadn't left. It had grown quieter but heavier, like something settling in. My vision blurred for a second when I stood up, and that's when I finally sat down on the edge of the couch and reached for my phone. I called my sister first. No answer. Left a voicemail I tried to keep light. Hey, it's me. I don't feel great. Call me when you can. Then my brother. Straight to voicemail. Then my parents. My mother answered, distracted. I could hear television in the background, laughter spilling out of it like it didn't belong to either of us. I think I need to go to the hospital, I said. There was a pause. Can't you wait until tomorrow? She asked. Your father has an early appointment, so I drove myself. The emergency room was busy, but not chaotic. People sat hunched over phones, a woman rocking a crying toddler, a man staring at the floor like he'd lost something important there. The intake nurse asked questions in a practiced tone, her fingers flying over the keyboard. When she looked up at me, her expression shifted just enough to make my stomach drop. We're going to take you back, she said. That's when I texted the family group chat. In the ER. Chest pain.
Please check in.
I watched the message send. Watched the little check marks appear, one by one.
Seen.
Hours passed in fragments. Blood pressure cuff tightening, loosening. A curtain drawn halfway. A doctor explaining things carefully, without explaining much at all. My phone stayed quiet. I told myself they were busy. That they assumed I was fine. That if it were serious, someone would call them. But fear doesn't listen to reason when you're alone on a narrow bed, listening to your own heartbeat amplified through wires. At some point, my phone buzzed. Just once. A notification from the group chat. My sister had sent a thumbs-up emoji. That was it. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. My hands were trembling, not enough for anyone else to notice, but enough that I had to press them together to steady them. I thought about all the times I dropped everything for them. The long drives, the late night talks, the money I never asked back for. And there I was, surrounded by strangers, wondering if something inside me was quietly failing, while my family scrolled past my message like it was nothing more than bad weather. The nurse came back to check my vitals. She asked if anyone was with me. No, I said. She squeezed my shoulder before moving on. It was a small gesture, but it stayed with me. That gentle pressure. That acknowledgement. It felt like kindness had a weight to it. By the time they admitted me for observation, it was late. The hallway lights dimmed slightly, and the sounds softened into murmurs and beeps. I sent one more text. Short this time. They're keeping me overnight. No response. I lay there staring at the ceiling again, listening to the clock click its way through the minutes, thinking about how strange it is to feel invisible when you've spent your whole life making sure everyone else was seen. I didn't know then that the silence was only temporary. I didn't know that before the night was over, my phone would ring so many times it would feel like an accusation. I only knew that something had shifted, quietly, irrevocably, while I waited alone in that hospital bed.